All right, Toyota has the nerve to want to sell you this McLandCruiser here for $107,000. Yeah, 107K for this 2024 McLandCruiser, and we'll get to that in a second. But dealer in Virginia is marking this thing up by about $30,000. And today I'm going to tell you why this is actually going to mean that you're going to get a good deal on your Lexus GX550. So if you're interested in a Lexus GX550 like the Overtrail, the real Land Cruiser, markups like this on this McLandCruiser, $30,000 over MSRP. I'm going to tell you today why Toyota marking up their Land Cruisers and their 4Runners or 2025 4Runners. I'm going to tell you why that's going to mean bargain shopping for your Lexus GX550. First, we got to establish that Toyota thinks you're stupid. Yes. If you're an American, Toyota actually literally thinks that you're dumb, because they don't think you as an American are smart enough to realize that this really isn't even the true Toyota Land Cruiser. Yes, this is actually the McLandCruiser. The real Land Cruiser is this thing here. It was released 3 years ago in 2021. This is the Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport. This did not come to America because Americans wouldn't buy it. So instead of bringing the real Land Cruiser, the 300 over here, Toyota decided to bring in a lesser Land Cruiser and rebadge it as a quote-unquote Land Cruiser. So not only is it an insanity to ask $107,000 for a Land Cruiser, it's not even the real Land Cruiser. And again, Toyota is counting on American stupidity to sell these things and increase their profit margins, and that's probably going to work. It's going to work, and not only is it going to work, it's going to keep down the Lexus GX550 prices. This vehicle here is the closest thing you can get to the real Land Cruiser in America, the Lexus GX550 Overtrail Plus. The other way to get close to the real Land Cruiser is the Lexus LX600. However, this GX550 retains the front locker and the EKD-SS front rear sway bar disconnect of the Land Cruiser 300 GR Sport, where the Lexus LX600 does not have those features. So all things considered, this is the real Land Cruiser, and this is the closest thing you can get to buying the real Land Cruiser in the United States of America. Now, eventually, someone from the international world is going to go, nah, that's a Land Cruiser Prado. This new 2024 Land Cruiser they want $107,000 for. With its turbocharged four-cylinder versus that twin-turbo V6 in that GX550, they're going to say, nah, this is the Land Cruiser Prado, and we've always had Land Cruiser Prados. And I've heard that a million times, and that's incorrect. The Land Cruiser Prado is dead. These vehicles are on Toyota's TNGAF platform. I don't care if they put the name Prado on it in the European market or the world market. The Prado is gone because the Prado was a short wheelbase Land Cruiser, whereas now all of these vehicles, the 4Runner, the Land Cruiser 250, the Land Cruiser 300, etc., are all on the same exact platform and wheelbase. Let's dumb this down for you a little bit real quick before we move on. This is a mouse. This is a rat. In some languages, there's no word for rat. It's just mouse and big mouse. The Land Cruiser Prado previously, aka the Lexus GX460, was a mouse. Whereas the Land Cruiser 200, the previous Land Cruiser, and the Lexus LX570 was a rat or big mouse. What does this mean? you can clearly see the major difference here. It's not in the naming, it's not in the engine output, but it's in the size. Prado, small mouse, not a Prado, big mouse. The small mouse is gone. It doesn't matter if it's called a LandCruiser 250 or a LandCruiser Prado. The new LandCruiser, the 2024, is no longer a small mouse. They are all big mice, aka rats. Why does this matter? Because when you're off-roading, it actually makes a difference whether you want to take the big mouse or the small mouse off-roading. The old Prado, aka the GX460, had a short wheelbase. See his little feet down here? It was actually shorter, closer together, shorter wheelbase than a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. That's right. That's why it has an amazing breakover angle. It was a small mouse meant to be maneuverable off-road. And it was feature-packed. It had front and rear sway bar disconnects. In America, we got a V8 engine and a 6-speed transmission and a bunch of luxury. And so did the European market with the Prado. It was feature-packed. It was small and maneuverable. Whereas the big LandCruiser 200 was a big rat, and it was getting too big to go off-road. Well, now they're all big. They have big wheelbases now, 112 inches, which is bigger than a Rubicon now, where it used to be smaller than a Rubicon. So the size is why there's no Prado anymore. If you off-road, you know that makes a difference. So why in the world is a dealership in Virginia marking this thing up to 107? $30K over MSRP? Why is this thing being marked up? And furthermore, what do I mean by this is going to keep GX prices down? Well, now that we established just there in that rat analogy that these new Toyotas are all on the TNGAF platform, now that we've established that, we realize that there's a lot of TNGA trucks out here. You got this LandCruiser, you got the 4Runner, and you got the GX, and you got the LX. I'm not even going to get in the trucks like the Tundra. But what's that? 4 SUVs that I just listed off? I won't even count the Tacoma either. But you got 4, and then you got 2 more trucks. But again, let's focus on the SUVs. So we got 4 SUVs on this TNGAF platform that are, remember, they're all big rats now. Same big 112-inch wheelbase. So there's a huge amount of these big wheelbase SUVs available to the market, and the market is not unlimited. There's not an unlimited amount of buyers in the market of people that want to buy a Toyota truck or SUV. What that means is Toyota has essentially saturated the market or oversaturated the market with their own junk. And so what does that mean? So what that means is the vehicle that's going to sell is the vehicle with the most hype behind it. And this is it. This is the vehicle with the most hype about it, or that has the most hype going on about it, at least right now, and that is the 2025 4Runner, again, on the TNGAF platform. Okay, so this thing has a lot of hype. We know TRD Pro 4Runners are a cash cow, and they're going to have a lot of hype, and thus, lots of markups. Why are dealers going to mark these things up? Because there's lots of hype behind them, just like the $107,000 LandCruiser that we just looked at that's also under a lot of hype. That's going to be marked up. So this is going to be marked up like crazy, and the 2024 LandCruiser is going to be marked up. And so you might be asking, why would anybody pay $107,000 for this LandCruiser that is less capable than, say, a GX 550 Overtrail, literally? And the answer is all in the hype. You might think that people follow logic or low price or some sort of value, but they don't. What they follow is hype. That's how you get this $107,000 price tag. People follow the hype, not the logic, not the value, not even a low price. They're going to follow the hype. So the markups are going to be, as you're seeing on the new LandCruiser 250, Why? Because there's a lot of hype behind it. Conversely, the people are going to be hyped up and they're going to be into the new 25 4Runner. Why? Because there's a lot of hype behind it. And so they're going to pay those markups. What that means to you as a potential GX550 buyer is that if all these people here are grazing on the LandCruiser 250 or McLandCruiser Prairie, or they're grazing on the 25 4Runner TRD Pro Prairie, if they're all over here on this prairie, that leaves the Lexus dealership looking pretty low, and it gives the Lexus dealership absolutely no room to mark up or play with their pricing on their Lexus GX550s. Yes, even the Overtrail, which is superior mechanically and as far as off-road capabilities, it's superior to those other two models. But it's still not going to be marked up because, as I keep repeating, the masses don't follow logic, value, or low price. They follow the hype. Now you might say, well, yeah, they follow the hype, but won't the GX550 Overtrail, isn't Toyota and Lexus hyping that up? Yeah, they are, but not as much as the Toyota LandCruiser 250 or the 25 4Runner is being hyped up. So following that hype train, the markups are going to be on the Toyota products and not the Lexus products. And thus we're going to start to see the enigma of the Lexus GX in America happen all over again. Yes, indeed. The GX has always been perceived as a soccer mommy mobile or a fancy 4Runner. Why? Because, again, the masses don't follow anything other than marketing hype. And relative to the 4Runner, the GX has gotten way less marketing hype. So they're going to follow the 4Runner and they're going to follow the LandCruiser 250. And that's going to keep these prices down. Now, are you going to get some sort of free Lexus GX 550 Overtrail? Of course not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying relative to the markups on the 25 4Runners and the 24 LandCruisers, you're going to see these prices stay at around MSRP. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but this is a relative game we're playing here. You're going to get more value in your GX. And that, incidentally, is exactly what myself, when buying our GX 460, that's what we got. We got a deal in comparison, meaning relative to what they were asking for 4Runners and TRD Pros and Sequoias and this sort of nonsense. You're going to get the same value in these GX 550s, which are for sale right now. So we bought our 2021 GX in 2021, so it was a new model, and the Lexus dealer was right next to the Toyota dealer, as they usually are, right? And Toyota had on their lot a 2020, the year prior model, TRD Pro 4Runner, forget this, $85,000 in 2021. That's pre-pandemic money. $85,000 for a TRD Pro that was a year older than this, the 2021 Lexus GX 460, and Lexus wanted MSRP on this vehicle, which of course we ended up getting. But think about that enigma for a second. We have a quote-unquote inferior vehicle, and I'm not saying they're incapable, calm down. I'm saying that on paper and objectively, the 4Runner TRD Pro is missing a lot of off-road features such as KDSS in that case and full-time four-wheel drive. It's also missing 2 cylinders in its engine and 1 speed on its transmission and a bunch of luxury. It's missing a lot. But it was going for over $25,000 more than this thing here. Why and how is that possible? You guessed it. They don't see that it's a Land Cruiser Prado. They see the marketing. They see the hype. They see the amplification. They're caught up in the headlights of the hype. And that's how it works. That's why marketing is even a thing. That's why we have brands. That's why there's stickers that say TRD. That's why there's nonsense in commercials, and you know what I'm rambling here. That's why we have marketing. It allows a maker of a product or service to, of course, sell that product or service at a higher than normal price. And the equation simply works if done properly. So through the magic of marketing, up becomes down, down becomes up. The less capable vehicle is sold at a higher price than the more capable vehicle. The esoteric alchemy of marketing simply works. Like the sacred checkerboard, black becomes white, white becomes black, down becomes up, up becomes down, in becomes out. Everything can do a 180 if the marketing works. But we're going down the rabbit hole a little bit too much here. Let's back up. The importance of a story like this is it's telling you what's bound to happen. It's telling you what's going to happen, which is what happened last time in the last generation of 4Runners and GXs. The 4Runner or Toyota SUVs got all the attention, especially the 4Runner. It overshadowed the GX. Toyota was able to mark their SUVs up to ridiculous levels, while the GX, with more features, became not cheaper, but in some cases, like my example of an $85,000 4Runner TRD Pro, in some cases it did become cheaper. Insanity, I know, but that's what it is. So you're seeing the insanity here. We have a new Land Cruiser 107, which is cheaper than the GX 550 Overtrail. This is reality right now. We're existing in a world where we have the McLandCruiser going for 107 in Virginia, while a GX 550 Overtrail is going to come in cheaper than this in Southern California for real. So if you're in the market for a GX 550, use your third eye. Don't behave like the masses. And what you're going to find is, again, not a value, but you're going to find a relative value when you compare your GX 550 prices to the new 4Runner and the Land Cruiser 250 prices. You may even literally find a GX 550 Overtrail cheaper than a 4Runner, 25 4Runner, or new Land Cruiser. Now keep in mind, this video is not whining about new truck or car prices. I know that's a trend now. This is not about that. I can't do anything about these prices. That's just what it is. The government printed a bunch of free money. You didn't think that was actually free, did you? So it's normal inflation. During the pandemic, everybody got the free lunch money, and now you're paying it back. So this is all across the board, inflation. So whining about, all manufacturers raising their prices, that's just inflation. What I'm focusing on today is the relative prices between the superior GX 550 and the inferior Toyota 4Runner 2025 or the Land Cruiser, McLandCruiser, Land Cruiser 250. I'm focusing in the value that you're going to get if you, cross-shop these two vehicles and, you're able to buy either vehicle. You're going to see that the value is going to be in the GX hands down. Furthermore, it's going to keep these things from getting marked up, meaning the GX. It's going to keep these prices down. Look at this. $68,000, and these dealers, this is in Southern California, they're not marking these things up. I know people say they're going to mark these things up, they're going to be $100,000. They're not. They're not marked up. Why? As I said earlier in the video, the marketing has gotten the masses interested, not in the GX anymore, but the Land Cruiser and the 25 4Runner. So if you're in the market for one of these GXs, you're going to get a good deal. Because this right here is only the beginning. Wait till those 25 4Runners hit the lot. You're going to see them going for more than GX 550s, the TRD Pros especially, simply because of the hype. If there's any takeaway from today's video, the masses follow the hype, even if the price goes through the roof, even if it's an inferior, lesser product. They follow the hype. They do not use logic. They do not use ration. And they don't necessarily care about the lowest price. They want to follow that hype train. So if you can fight that feeling, you're going to find yourself an unbelievable deal. And when we bought our 21 GX, we perceived it as an unbelievable deal. It was cheaper than all the 4Runners on the adjacent lot that were already a year old because the marketing wasn't behind the Soccer Mom Mall Crawler Mobile.